we're ready to ditch the next block, and I want to think how we're going to do this again, so we have to do the least amount of backtracking or breaking thread. After I stitch the outside of this star, I want to stitch the inside portion of this star to make our design work. So since I'm going to do the outside and then come back to do the inside, starting in the inside right here, I'm going to sink my thread right where I want to start the next bit of stitching, so I don't have to backtrack to get there. Again, you can use your ruler, or you can eyeball it. Whatever works for you. I find on these short areas, it's not that difficult to do the straight line stitching without a ruler. But if you feel more comfortable with a ruler, by all means use it. You always want to use every tool that's at your disposal that will make the job easier and more pleasant for you. You don't want to work any harder than you have to. Remember, this is supposed to be fun. So we're going to go around this entire star. Now I'm coming back close to where we started. Notice how I'm always making a frame with my hands. That helps to keep everything aligned. Keeps the batting from puffing underneath. So now we're coming back up to where we started. Right there. And now we're going to do the inside. So I'm going to come down and hit the center. Now let's think of how we want to do this. We are going to end up going on the outside some, but we want to do it as little as possible. So let's go up here, stitch in a ditch again, here, back up, back down. Now I'm using a normal weight thread, but when you're doing a lot of ditching over top of your ditching, that's when it's really nice to use a finer thread so that your stitching is not that predominant. I basically have to use a heavier thread because I'm stitching white on white or blue on blue, and if I used a very fine blendable thread, you'd never be able to see what I'm doing. So for filming, I'm pretty much stuck with using a normal thread. Okay, so that's all stitched or ditched. Now let's take a look at what we're going to do next. We want to be in this area because now we're going to do a little bit of tucking in the baby. So I'm going to basically swing from this point around to this point. So here goes. Just making a big arch. Now I'm going to walk down that stitching line and I'm going to echo that arch about the width of my foot. And I'm just going to walk back and forth. And we'll continue on doing this stitch, and each portion of this we'll have to walk up to the top like this. And then stitch it out. So I'll continue on with that and pick up on this after that portion's finished. Now we're ready to do the background fill for this block. And all it is the baby bear, mama bear, and papa bear, done in a smaller format. We've done this stitch many, many times. So I think you can figure this out. Now again, while we're doing this stitch, before when you were doing it, you were trying to fit it into a square. And we're still fitting it into a square. However, we want that square and the stitching for that square to end over here so we can go right in to the triangle. So let's continue on. And remember, you want to change the direction of the paisleys so they're not all going the same way. Even if you have to do a half of one against the seam line, it gives it more interest. I'm going to sneak in through here and do one. And just do an echo here. Swing around. Sometimes you just have to fit in a smaller one, or you have to put it underneath another one. You have to pay attention to where you want to end up next. So I want to come out here. Now normally I would swing around here and back, but I want to be over here. So I'm going to swing this way and just catch the edge of that other paisley and stop. And now I can form another one right here in the corner. Do you see how I'm working over to this corner? That's what you want to do. even if you have to do a partial one like that. And we'll just swing up like we were going to go around again. And now we're in the corner and we're able to go right over here and start the next set. So I'm going to continue on with this, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when I'm done. And there's your finished block.